Well, it seems that the science fiction bug has bitten me recently in terms of reviewing, anyway. And, well, I guess it makes sense. I started a whole show about the genre, so yeah, I should review some science fiction books at some point. Hello, everyone. Britton here, also known as Some Okie Dude, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be covering Light by M. John Harrison, the first book of the Kafuchi Tract, is how I think it's pronounced. I'm not sure. I got some ribbing from some friends of mine because I couldn't pronounce it in my in one of my videos where in one of my what I read videos, which is basically a reading wrap up. But yeah, I think it's the Kafuchi Tract. I could be wrong. If anyone who has read this might be interested in telling me how it's supposed to be pronounced, feel free to let me know. I'd love to know. But yeah, book I'm covering today is Light, the first book of the Kafuchi Tract cycle by M. John Harrison. Every genre has its rebels and rule breakers, and science fiction is no different. M. John Harrison, this guy right here, is a codifier of what we know as the New Weird, as it's been called, having been cited as an inspiration by people such as China Miéville and Neil Gaiman. As a matter of fact, they are blurbed here. See Neil Gaiman's blurb. And here, there is China Miéville's blurb. So clearly they are fans of the guy. Harrison is one of those writers who I've wanted to try for a while. He's one of those who I wanted to see what the fuss was about because he's very well known. Well, I guess he's more of a cult figure in the speculative fiction realm because I don't really hear a lot of people talking about his fantasy series, Viraconium, or even his science fiction series, The Kafuchi Tract. Though I do hear some people talk about the Centauri device, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I was ho-hum on his proto-cyberpunk novel, The Centauri Device, though I found myself much more intrigued by his most recent excursion into the genre, at least the first novel of his most recent excursion into science fiction, Light. I have to say that Light is one of the most audacious and singular pieces of science fiction that I have read in a while. Harrison's voice is unique, it is succinct, and it is much different from what you expect from regular science fiction. I might even dare compare him to Jeff Vandermeer, who, if I recall right, is also been inspired by M. John Harrison because they both have a very singular view of science fiction. Now, I won't pretend this is a perfect book. It definitely isn't. But I do think that this is definitely one of the most singular views of the genre I have seen in some time. There are echoes and influences for sure. We see a little Philip K. Dick here. We see a little Boris and Arkady Strugatsky there. But Harrison's voice is entirely his own. I mean, this man gleefully defies genre throughout the story, as this book proves to be hard to pin down. At once, it is a turn-of-the-century paranoid thriller, an unconventional space opera with cyberpunk leanings, and a surreal odyssey into a strange zone where people go into the tract and they never come out the same. It is reminiscent of Stalker or Roadside Picnic if you've read the novel. Harrison is not one to stoop to info dumping, which is nice, but also not nice, but we'll get to that. Much like screenwriter David Mamet, Harrison has no intention of spelling out all the concepts he packs into this book. If his characters don't know what's going on, the readers don't either. It's a double-edged sword for me, as on the one hand, it's a really good way to immerse the readers into the setting. You don't have to explain everything, because I find when you explain everything that's going on, it just completely takes you out of the experience. With some exceptions, of course. There are some exceptions. But at the same time, I wasn't always able to visualize what Harrison was going on about, which I could say is a bit of a flaw of this story, is that sometimes Harrison is a little too abstract. He's a little too strange with his imagination, which I often think that innovation is a good thing. I think different is a good thing, but sometimes I do like cohesiveness. I would prefer a more cohesive narrative, but I do think this story is cohesive for the most part, but it was hard to visualize what Harrison was going on about because I am more of a visual reader, and or as my friend Josh likes to say, I like to hallucinate when I'm reading. So it was kind of tough to figure out exactly everything that Harrison was going on about, but I was enthralled at the same time by the consistent tone and the sharp prose from M. John Harrison, as well as Harrison's penchant for innovation and pushing genre boundaries as far as he can. And despite how strange and idiosyncratic Light is, it is far from incoherent. We follow three stories, but all of them are pretty easy to follow for the most part, even if sometimes some of the concepts are a bit abstract for a bit too abstract, at least for me anyway. It is far from incoherent, like I said. A core thematic element that courses through the story is avoidance, or attempting to run away from something. We see this with our three main characters, Michael Kearney, Ed Chianese, and Syria. We see this with Michael attempting to escape the influence of the Sharander, the creature that he claims attempts to make him kill. Syria's attempts to become human again after basically being turned into an AI. And Ed's attempts to escape from his shattered life through drugs. Which was kind of funny because the drugs are called Twink, and I'm, of course, 12 years old, so I had me a snicker at that. If you guys know what Twink is in our concept, if in our time, in our connotation, then, well, you know what it is. But I'm not going to stoop to explain it. If you want to look it up, well, feel free. But I'm not about to I'm not about to go into that. But every time I heard he's like a twink head or a twink addict, I just couldn't help but snicker. This book is very reminded me of Philip K. Dick in terms of its strangeness. There's a lot of weird phrases and weird turns of phrase, like twink, like the Sharander, like those other things. There's a couple other things I could mention, but I won't go there. But again, it's very much Harrison's own. But getting off topic. Yet we all have to face the Piper eventually, as all of them have to face their demons at one point or another, and that's ultimately what this story is about, is facing the past. Not necessarily the past, but facing what is traumatic for you, and rather that be troubled past, rather that be a creature that you don't, rather it be mental turmoil that you don't know how to feel with. We all have to confront our demons at one point or another. As another famous science fiction saga put it, they have to carry the weight. Light is, to keep it short, a bewildering, revelatory read, despite its short length. I mean, it's only about, my god, like 300-something pages? 310, I just looked now. At once, it's a dreamlike romp, an intellectual feast, and an examination of what science fiction could be. I'll admit, I didn't understand all what Harrison was going on about in this novel, because again, like I said before, he does get a little bit on the abstract side. But I am anxious to read this book again, because again, I was enthralled by the vision, the confidence, and the maturity of Harrison's voice. This definitely blows the Centauri device out of the water. I'm anxious to read this book again. I'm definitely going to this is one of those books that deserves to be reread and demands to be reread, because I don't think I could just give it its proper due having read it just once. Even though that's what I'm doing right now. When I read Light, it really jolts back to life why I love the genre of science fiction, but also makes me lament what science fiction could be, because I started my show, The State of Science Fiction, which only has 2 episodes. You can go check that out. But it's books like this that inspired me to start The State of Science Fiction, because I wish that science fiction would attain its own identity, and I'm always frustrated that people just seem to settle for the same old stuff. And it's books like Light that remind me what science fiction could be, and why I really love the genre, and why I think the genre is unique in its own right. But anyways, I'll save my rantings for science fiction for The State of Science Fiction. But that is all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can check me out on social media. I am on Twitter at SomeOkieDude. You can find me on Goodreads and Letterboxd, where I write reviews that are probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now. And you can also find me on Discord. I would also really like it if you guys liked, commented, subscribed. I especially like comments because I love hearing from you guys. Also, did I mention I was on Discord? I think I did. But if I didn't, I'm on Discord as well. I'm also on Blue Sky now. I'm not really on there very much. I'm still kind of on the Twitter. But, yeah, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, if you guys want, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. I mean, as my buddy John likes to say, it feels good to press that like button, to comment with your favorite YouTubers. And I love hearing comments from you guys. I love interacting with you guys. So feel free to do so. And I think that Light is an underrated novel. And I've seen it covered a couple times, but I really wanted to get some more awareness out there about Light. I think it's a novel that deserves to be discussed more, and I think it's a novel that more people should pick up. So, yeah, check out Light, and that is all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, it's been Some Okie Dude. See you guys later. Bye-bye.